Good evening, everyone. Hope you guys have had a great, productive week. It's been a very long week for me. Long week for me with work. And just, I've been grinding day in, day out. And trying to do this, in my spare time, which is a very difficult thing to do because my spare time is not necessarily I don't have a lot of spare time. And so I have to try to incorporate many different responsibilities, being a dad, an employee, also doing this as my hobby, which also sometimes, to be honest with you guys, becomes a job, if I'm being sincere, to the point that sometimes, there are questions out and about me, about what I do for a living. What do I do? Who is he? Is this guy some sort of prince from the Middle East? Who is this guy? How can he have so much gear available all the time? Is this guy... Before I even go into this, let me just say, I hear everything that's being said about me and what's posted and what stores or dealers or manufacturers say about me. Believe me, guys, I have ears everywhere. So, and I don't even have to look. Things just come to me. They literally come to me. It's like something is said, and next thing you know, I'm getting a call and it's being shared with me. Or I'm getting a link to something that was said about me. Or it's that easy. I want to first say that it's just being out in social media forums. It's reality, guys. What you say out there, what you post, what you verbalize with someone, 9 times out of 10 will get to the person that you're talking about, that you're making references about. It's the reality. So before I go there, guys, I wanted to just make sure that you guys understand one thing. It does not matter what I do, what I don't do for a living. That's not the point of any of this. The point is I'm trying to share my experiences with you guys so you guys understand what I'm trying to accomplish here. I'm trying to accomplish my own musical satisfaction if I ever get there. I know some of you guys love to question that, and that's fine. But I'm doing basically something maybe at a greater height than most of you guys are. But it's essentially the same thing. I mean, I help a lot of you guys with your systems. So I must say thank you to all of you who are working with me right now in building better sound systems for you guys with synergy. I'm learning more and more. I'm very focused on synergy right now, more than anything, more than any other time in my life. I am focused so deeply with synergy. Like in regards to synergy is one of the things that I think many of you guys, including myself, fail to do when putting systems together. It is actually the most crucial part of building a stereo system, however you want to call it, a sound system, your own rig. So guys, when I want you to know that I'm trying to share my own journey so that hopefully it can motivate some of you to try things that maybe you've never tried, or get a different perspective on a component that you probably have contemplated in the past and never brought home for X and Y reason. I have been a victim of, you have no idea, many conversations where people are bashing a certain product, and at the end of the day, I bring that product home and I'm actually blown away by it. It's happened. It's happened many times. Okay, so I gotta be real about that. But with all that said, today's video is a special one. You guys have been waiting for this. But before I go into showing you what this is about, I want to talk about how I came to this arrival. How did I arrive at this with this particular component? And how it started was back in 2019 at Xpona. I remember going through many different listening rooms, hearing to all kinds of speakers. And the speakers that really popped deep, like in my head all the time, are 3 speakers. One was the Focal Grande Utopia that they had there. I thought that speaker was special when they put when they floor that gas pedal on that speaker, it was just impressive how it can fill that entire room. Two was the Sonos Faber Aida 2. I really loved the presentation on that speaker. It was located downstairs on the first floor by the lobby, next to the Wilson Audio Alex, which I didn't like the way it sounded, by the way, if I'm being honest. I didn't think it sounded all that in that room. With maybe it was the music. That's one thing that it just tears me up about shows. The music they use, oh my God, it's just like, are they trying to put people to sleep? Are they what is their purpose with some of the music? I almost feel like some manufacturers are really scared to put different music, to play different music, because they are afraid it makes their speaker sound bad or too analytic or too harsh or too bloated. And so I never understand that. Like, if you believe you have a kick ass product out there, if you believe you have that, what's the fear in playing music? All kinds of music. I'm not saying play garbage components. I understand you're trying to display great music, just like, if you're playing a projector, you're going to put the best 4K movie there is. I get that. But what I'm saying is, I wish all these manufacturers were not scared of playing different music. It's always funny to me how that happens. They only want to play that, some of the crazy symphonies. And no, I'm not trying to attack that type of music. I'm just saying, like, there is a specific crowd for classical and jazz and blues, and I understand that. Play music for them too. But when you go on and on and on and on about classical music at a show, just that's all you play. It's like I hear people snoring behind me. Play music, get going. You can't just, don't be scared. If you have a product that you believe in, as a manufacturer, it is your job to play music. Play all the music that people want. What's the fear? If you believe it sings, it's going to sing. Now, of course, if it's an educated buyer and he's asking you to play something that is no good, an educated buyer is not going to throw you a Leonard Skinner song from 1975 that was poorly recorded. He would understand that he's asking you to play something that may not necessarily be the best song out there. That's understood. But again, I understand there are some uneducated buyers or audiophiles, if you want to call them that don't understand that. Highly resolved system is going to let you hear the different shades, the different tonalities, volume levels. You're going to see all the colors of the rainbow with regards to your music selection. Okay. And that includes poor recordings. So when you begin to look at the entire industry, I always, and mind you, I haven't been around this industry longer. I know some of you guys have probably been doing this longer than, before I was even born. I understand that. But the reality is, it's 2020. The 80s are gone. We don't have the same televisions, right? We don't have the same type of music. Everything has changed. So I'm just a believer that when we begin to build a system, you look at possibilities with what's offered today, what we have today, and put the best system you can put together based on your budget. Okay. So I went to Expona 2019. Like I was saying, I started to look at every single room. 3 rooms stuck out to me. Aida 2, Sonos Faber, Focal Grande Utopia. And then the third room, believe it or not, was a company called GT Audio with their speakers. I remember they were a green color. I was very impressed. And I even gave kudos to Steve for not being scared while I was in the room. If I remember this, I made this comment to him, and actually was very vocal and loud when I said this. I told him, with the crowd in the room, thank you for playing music. And everyone started laughing. Like, I'm sick of the songs they play elsewhere. And he went and played Michael Jackson, a cool recording, Thriller. He played all kinds of music, and I enjoyed that room tremendously. So those are really the rooms that I would say I preferred at the show. Focal, Sonos Faber Aida 2, and the GT Audio room I thought was great. It sucks the room was very tiny. I understand that. That was the only downfall, but I thought it had a tremendous amount of potential in there. So I continue around the room. I saw the Griffin room. I don't really, the thing that I was looking for is to hopefully capture the Mephisto there, which I finally did. I looked at the Mephisto. I was able to look at the sheer size, and I knew I had to have it. So fast forward to today, I made the decision to let go of my Wilson Alexia 2s. Yes, guys, they are gone. No more. I parted ways with Wilson simply because I think over the last year to maybe 14 months, I have owned enough Wilson speakers. And now I am just not really looking to continue with Wilson for the time being. I think I have gone as far as I was willing to go with Wilson. I had contemplated an Alex, but sometimes you can't strike up the deal, and the conversation just falls flat on its face, the negotiation, and things just didn't happen. But in reality, I was feeling a little skeptical about doing that. One reason would be the way the Alex sounded at that Expona 2019. I didn't care for it. But I understand its show. I understand its components that I'm not familiar with. I understand it could be the room. I understand it could be the music selection. So I'm not going to put that on the speaker. I did have an opportunity to hear the Alex locally one time. I was not very impressed with it. I thought it sounded a little too boomy. It overloaded the room. It could have been the room again. Maybe the room was too small for the speaker, but I was not impressed. I believe I think they were using Boulder amps. I just felt that it was too relaxed sounding and too much bass. It was just too boomy. And I did mention it to the dealer. And they, I think, worked on the room and the source and all of that. So I was already having second thoughts. Long story short, as I was headed to audition the speaker one more time, and I had made my recommendations as far as what I wanted to hear the speakers with before I bought them. And yes, this is from a legit dealer. Okay. I don't know what happened, but we were not able to make it happen. That's all. I'm going to leave it at that. We were not able to put it together. So I revisited. I went back to the drawing board. I went back to my memories of Expona 2019. What speakers impressed me, and all the stars had aligned as of recently. Literally, like, this decision was probably 2.5 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, maybe. Okay, that I made this decision. But I thought it was the right one. I thought the deal was what I needed. I thought it was the speaker that I really was eager to try, and it took me a long time, but I was able to put it together, finalize it, and I am here introducing to you all my pick on the most expensive speaker I have ever owned. And this took a lot of work, but I did it, and I'm very proud. Right before the holidays, this is my Christmas gift to me. There you go. Focal Stella Utopia Evo. This speaker is 374 pounds, and I'm going to be posting some pictures of this speaker. Take a look at the pictures that you have on the screen right now, how hard it was to move. The crates are huge, 650-pound crates. Crates are just massive. The wife is throwing a fit because I have the crates out by the pool deck, as you can see, because I have nowhere to put the crates, so I have to figure that out. And she today complained that she works, from home, and she was telling me that she can hear the bass in the room, inside the house, and some of the light fixtures resonate. But that was my bad. I went to run errands and I left the speakers breaking in, and I think I left the volume too loud. But yeah, it's a huge sound presentation, guys. Again, 374 pounds, 650-pound crates. Each crate is 650 pounds. It's a huge speaker, guys. It's really big. It's like a huge. I mean, I can't even begin to tell you how big this thing is. This is as far as I can zoom out to give you an idea. Okay. Still working with it. Beryllium tweeter, mid-range drivers, 13-inch woofer. 13-inch woofer. Look at the size of this thing. It's just huge. I mean, I'm trying to capture as much as I can so you guys can get an idea. Look, guys. And here's the coolest part. See that right there? That is the servo control. Coolest thing ever. This is one of the things that won me over about the speaker. Look at this. Look, you can control the bass level on this thing. Okay, this is not an amplifier. This is a control for the woofer, the 13-inch woofer. So it makes the presentation much more effortless. The speaker just sings better. There's far more tightness. I'm going to be going over the differences between this sound and the Alexia 2 sound. I already have them written down. There are a lot of differences, okay? But here's one of the coolest part about the speaker. Look at this. Look. Voila. Look at that. Look at all the adjustments. Look at that. Okay? Those are all the adjustments that you can do. I believe there are 240, I want to say 240, 230 or 40 adjustments that you can do, different combinations on this speaker. Look at that. Gotta push it hard. There. Click. So, what I was saying is, it's a huge speaker. But I will say to you, and look at the differences between the Alexia right now and the Focal Stella Evo. Take a look at the picture I'm putting up right now, before and after. Guys, it is a huge difference. I can't begin to tell you. And the size difference, the sound is that much more different. It is the very first speaker of this MSRP. In case you're wondering, this is a $140,000 speaker, current speaker. It's a current speaker right now for Focal Stella Evo. And this supersedes any other speaker I've ever owned. This has so much more that I like. A lot of strengths. Remember, I did have Focal Scala Utopias before. If you watch my previous videos, the beginning stages of my channel, you will see them there. I had an understanding of what the sound was, but what I wasn't prepared to understand is what you get as you go up into the six-figure bracket. I thought it would be just a Scala on steroids. No, guys, this buys you the brains. This buys you a new body. This is a whole new thing. This is not... Some say this is actually the best speaker for the money. Or better, let me put it this way. Some say this is actually a better speaker for the money than the Grande Utopia is. Because you really get the technology of the Grande Utopia here. It's just a smaller package. And the servo control is something that only comes with this Stella and the Grande Utopia. It's not offered on the lower models. They really, really believe in that technology. I am 100% sold on what that thing does, because I have never heard my Mephisto sound so impressive, so powerful. The speakers, it just took things up to a whole new level. They are very different than the Wilson Audio Alexia 2s. I will tell you, they are nothing alike. Nothing. Not just the look. The only thing they have in common is maybe the color is similar color. Outside of that, they sound nothing alike. They couldn't be more different. I feel that this speaker, my early preliminary feelings or impressions, one, a lot more air, a lot more nuance, a lot more information. I bought added ounces of information. I bought more layers behind the speaker of information. I bought a faster, much faster woofer that stops so fast. I've never heard anything. Zero overhang. I bought a speaker that thrusts far better than the Alexia 2 did. I bought a speaker that is also more efficient at 94 dBs, 94 decibels. Think about that for a minute, how easy this speaker can be. Of course, if you put better amplification, it's going to get better. But you can really, really drive. This speaker is more efficient than the Alexia 2. I also bought a speaker that does something that the rest of the lower Focal models do not do. Which is, this speaker has the ability to literally be placed in just about any room, quote unquote, just about any room. Why? Because the flexibility, guys. I just showed you all the flexibility of the speaker. The speaker has so much flexibility, it's unreal. And the great thing about that, right, is that if you remember my videos, my previous videos, I always say, when you accommodate a component, you almost have to already go thinking, I am going to have to change a cable, a power cord, an XLR, whatever it is, or a preamplifier or a DAC. Remember that? You remember those conversations? That's the beautiful thing about the speaker. That if something went forward, or you got less bass by changing your preamplifier or your amplifier or your DAC, or and things got brighter, colder, darker, more relaxed, you can compensate for that with the passive adjustments on the speaker. Think about that. If your bass went backwards and you started to lose bass when you change your component, you can basically make up for that by changing the jumpers on the back of the speaker. Now, mind you, a lot of you guys might be like, oh, well, that's something that I really don't want to do. And I get that. But the reality is this, guys, no room is perfect. If you think about it, yeah, it would be great in a perfect world to have a speaker that sounds good in every room, but that does not exist. So you have to try to accommodate your speaker to make it work in your room. And that's what this speaker allows you to do with all the adjustments. These adjustments are adjustments that do come in the lower entry models, but they have less adjustments. This has added adjustments. It has adjustments on that servo control unit. It has more adjustments on the back. When it comes to the high frequencies, if you want less slope, more slope, all of that, you can control all of that with the speaker. Those are things that the lower entry models don't have. And so if you think about it, if you have a room right now and you were looking for a speaker, knowing that you have a speaker with this capability makes it so much easier, because if you're getting so much bass, you can just go take it down a notch. If you're getting the high frequencies are a little too much for you, you can take those down a notch, right? You can take them down. You can adjust it to your liking. And that means you don't have to go out there and constantly change components or cables. Every time you put a new amplifier, right, and something changed, you don't have to go out there and now go buy $4,000 XLRs, $5,000 power cords, $10,000 speaker cables. You really don't have to do that. Now, there will be cases where you will, but for the most part, it can forgive you. It can actually give you a pass. The speaker gives you a pass because it opens the door behind you and it says, adjust me here. Do what you need to do to make me work. So that's where the Wilson Audio Alexia 2 were placed. By the way, if you watch, they're right there where the Alexia 2s, which I don't know if that's going to be the final spot for the speakers. I might be able to go back a little more. I'm not really positive yet what I'm going to do, but right there, I've been listening to them for the last 2 days. It has been a revelation in every way. I went the first night, guys, I went to bed, and I know I haven't told you all this, but I had to go the next day to the acupuncture to get acupuncture done on my back because I was unable to walk essentially the next day when I got done putting these speakers inside the room. And so the biggest turnoff right now that I have with the speaker, the only bone to pick, I got to be honest, they're too heavy and too big. Oh my God. Guys, I don't think, this is my first rodeo. Well, no, I wouldn't say that. Neolith were. But I had forgotten, I guess, how much work the Neoliths were because it has been a while since I've had them. But guys, I think this is my first and probably last rodeo with a speaker of this size. It is just a production to get it in the room. It really is almost like a speaker that you have to put in your mind, I'm done with when you put them in the room. Like, I'm finished. I'm not doing this again. Like, I will make it work because I'm not doing it anymore. Like, it really is painful to do. But after I did that, I said, okay, I'm just going to turn them on. I'm going to make sure everything works. Tweeters are working, right? They're still breaking in. They still got the plastic on the platforms as you see. And I'm thinking, well, let me just make sure that everything works so I can go to sleep happy and I don't have to be worried about anything. And I did. Well, what was supposed to be a 30-minute listening session ended up being a 5-hour listening session. I ended up going to bed at 3:48, I believe, in the morning. and I still couldn't get the smile off my face. Like, it was just incredible what I was hearing. It really feels like you have graduated in many ways. And I'm so happy to be able to tell you all now that I am going to get started with a tool that I had never played with. At this level, it's just, I'm very happy. It's like I was driving a sports car for a long time, and I'm finally able to buy a NASCAR vehicle and take it to the, down at the Homestead Speedway and drive it at 200 miles an hour. That's how excited I feel to be able to come and get in a car like that and drive it. I'm just so motivated because I can talk about some things that most people probably would never be able to put, in their house, whether it be because of the finances or maybe the lack of space or whatever that may be, or just the logistics don't work. I'm doing it. And I'm able to come from this level of gear and the Magna pants, which are still here, right? Two completely different price points. Completely. It couldn't be more different. And I'm able to do that and talk about it now. This is my first rodeo. We're about to get started with a speaker of this caliber. I am very excited. I am extremely pumped. You will get music soon, not on this video. I got to start putting out content like this. If not, YouTube does not pay me anything when I put music on. So this is just the introduction to the speaker. And I want to thank each and every one of you who follow me, my real followers, my legit followers, as I call them. Thank you all for supporting me, for having my back. I couldn't do this without you guys. And, I plan to continue to help you all. And thank you to those of you who are working with me on their, systems and putting things together. I am very, very happy to continue. Hopefully we can continue to work together and make improvements on your end. And who knows, maybe you end up with a Focal speaker, Stella maybe, or maybe you beat me and you get the Grande. Who knows? But I'm here to just give you a reference point. I am the only active person online today on YouTube that has a pair of Stellas. I am the only person you're about to hear, a speaker that is never really been heard online. Never. The recordings that I have spotted where maybe with one hand I can tell you how many, very poor at best. So now you're going to hear a Stella accommodated with the right electronics behind it. And I promise you all, get ready. It is going to be the ride of your life. Thank you for your time, and please don't forget to hit the button, subscribe.